Hi, this is Brad Pilon of Eat and EatStopEat.com. Today I want to talk about the idea of drinking protein during your workouts. It was back in September that I wrote this blog comment about drinking protein during your workout, simply stating that, after 9 hours, there is no difference in effect. So if you worked out and drank protein, there is no real difference 9 or 10 hours later in how much protein synthesis was occurring. Now, a lot of people commented on this post, and most of them found a paper from Berlin showing exactly the opposite. That, in fact, drinking protein during a workout did have a really big effect. The difference is, I was talking about a more recent paper. And in this more recent paper, what was found is, resistance training represents an effective strategy to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Most of us knew that already. But see, most research that looks at protein synthesis and resistance training looks at a period of 2 to 3 hours after workout. And these are the ones that all find, wow, protein before, during, after workout, they all massively increase protein synthesis. So in this paper, the idea was to find out what happens after. A very important question to always ask in research is, okay, what happens after? What happens next? And that's exactly what this group did. So in 20 healthy male volunteers, they had them work out, which doing basically interval cycle training, and resistance exercise. So kind of a typical, very popular way of working out right now, at intervals and weight training. And what they found, this is very interesting, is yes, there was a massive difference in many markers of protein synthesis. But if you look here, what you see is that the difference is very, very acute. Very different in the first 2-3 hours, after which, complete catch-up. The interesting thing is this placebo group here had no protein. So for that entire 9, 10, 11 hour period you see right there, no protein was ingested, whereas the other group had protein during and after their workout. Showing you that you have to think of what happens next. And in this case, it shows that if you look long term, by the time you wake up next morning after your workout, it doesn't matter if you had protein or didn't have protein. The effects as measured via these markers of protein synthesis, there was no difference. And this is really important. This is the whole idea of what happens next. If you just measure a small time point, you may see a massive difference. But if you measure a longer time point, you may see something completely different than what you suspected happened. So, this research doesn't prove that drinking protein is useless. It also doesn't prove that, drinking protein is amazing for protein synthesis. What it does show is that after 9 to 11 hours after workout, the change in protein synthesis in your muscles isn't different, depending on whether or not you drank protein or didn't drink protein. So just a further explanation of that blog post, I'm Brad Pilon for bradpilon.com and EatStopEat.com. Hope you enjoyed this video.